Hey there, let's get a little practice in. Not too crazy, just a little bit of warm-ups and some sun salutations. Go ahead and start in any seated position, anywhere you can start tapping into your breath. Let your eyes close or just soften your gaze. We're just checking in, seeing what's going on, noticing how you've arrived to your space, to your practice. Whether it's easy to drop right in, or maybe a little bit restless, a little bit agitated. There's no wrong way to arrive. Trust that you're exactly where you need to be. Just start noticing the subtle sensations of your breath, the rising and falling, the expansion and contraction. Maybe even the slight temperature change. The cooling of your inhales and the warmth of your exhales. Always opposition, always space in between. And watch your thoughts in your mind like they're clouds passing above in the sky. We're just observing, just watching. After sitting with your stillness for a few moments, start to invite some small movements into your body. And start by slow motion nodding your head yes and shaking your head no. Nothing crazy. Just gentle tension release. You can even keep your eyes closed here. And start pulling your breath in deeper and deeper. Letting your inhales really fill you up and your exhales empty you out completely, like you're pouring out a glass of water. As your breath gets deeper, your movements get bigger. Inhale, float your shoulders up toward your ears. Exhale, roll them right back down. Keep following your breath. Let your body move you. Let your body take the driver's seat. Your thinking mind is a helpless passenger at this point. And start to make those movements even more dynamic, really pulling your inhales all the way down to the tips of your lungs, your low belly. Start to reach for these nice big side bends. And let these first few movements be intuitive. Again, you can even keep your eyes closed, just maintaining that inward connection. Building trust with yourself that you know exactly what you need. Eventually, we start to make our way towards hands and knees, that tabletop position. Right when you get there, give yourself a few rounds of cat-cow. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. Exhale, push the ground away from you. Empty out your lungs completely. Give yourself a few more rounds at the pace, the rhythm of your own breath. Invite your hips to the party. Let them sway side to side or create little circles or figure 8 shapes. If you feel you need a little more grounding here, go ahead and just sink your hip bones back toward your heels. Find your Balasana, child's pose. Melt your heart and chest toward your mat. Extend your fingertips forward. In your child's pose, you can stretch your fingertips toward the back edge of your mat, wrapping around your heels, ankles. You can also interlace your fingers behind your back and stretch your knuckles up toward the ceiling. Take a few moments in any variation, just discerning, deciding what your body needs today. It's not going to look the same as anybody else's. And next time you inhale, lift your gaze toward the top edge of your mat. Tuck your toes underneath and send your hip bones up toward the ceiling, down your dog. And right when you get there, let yourself pedal it out a little bit. Soften your knees, drop your heels from one side to the other. Keep pulling your breath in deeper and deeper. Starting to tap into that Ujjayi pranayama, creating a slight constriction in the back of your throat, like you're fogging up a glass or mirror, but keeping your lips sealed. Letting your exhales create sound, that Darth Vader, that oceanic breath. Let it create sound, create friction. Inhale, lift your hip bones toward the ceiling. Press into your index finger, your thumb. Exhale, press your heart and chest toward your thighs. Knees can stay soft. Your heels do not have to touch the mat. Inhale, lift your gaze toward the top edge of your mat. Exhale, slowly step your way forward. Little baby steps, as many as you need. We find our way to the top edge of our mat. We're in this forward fold. Let yourself hang out here for a few moments. You can grab opposite elbow, sway side to side. Nod your head yes, shake your head no. And again, you can always clasp fingertips behind your back. Stretch your knuckles toward the ceiling. There's something for everybody. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips toward the mat or your shins. Gaze tap past the tip of your nose. Exhale, pour it back out. This time, letting your inhale root you down through all four corners of your feet. Soften your knees, come all the way back up through standing. Exhale, drag your hands through heart center. Surya Namaskar A, Sun Salutation A. Another inhale lifts your fingertips up toward the ceiling, gaze up. Exhale, pour it back out, forward fold. Inhale lifts you halfway. And exhale, plants your hands. You either step to your downward facing dog, or if you'd like to move through your vinyasa, step to the top of your plank push-up position. You can always have your knees grounded here. Let an exhale slowly lower you down to your mat, drawing your elbows toward your rib cage, leading with your heart and chest. Inhale right into your back bend. Fill up completely. Exhale for downward dog. Check back in with your breath. Let those exhales get stronger and stronger. Inhale, lift your gaze. Exhale, step, float, travel to the top edge of your mat, however you choose to get there. And inhale lifts you halfway. Exhale, pour it back out. Inhale, come all the way back up through standing. Exhale, hands to heart center. We'll move through that one more time. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, pour it out. Inhales lift you up. Exhales melt you right back down. Either step to down dog or move through your vinyasa at your own pace, following the rhythm of your own breath. Letting your inhales fill you up, your exhales ground you back down. Next time you inhale, lift your gaze to the top edge of your mat. Exhale, either step, float, hop. Travel your way all the way back forward. And this time, when you get to the top edge of your mat, exhale, sink your hips low. Inhale, sweep your fingertips high. Utkatasana, chair pose. Your feet can be about hip width distance apart, or your big toes can touch each other. You can play around to find what works best for you. No matter where you are, keep pulling inner thighs toward each other. Keep pulling your belly button toward your spine. Strengthening your exhales with purpose, with force, with intention. Notice the groundedness of your lower body, the lightness in your upper body. You're somewhere in between. That harmony of opposition. Inhale, come up through standing. Exhale, pour it back out. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, step right into your downward facing dog. Next time you inhale, step your right foot toward the top edge of your mat. Ground your left heel. Inhale, hips stay low. Fingertips sweep high. Warrior one, Virabhadrasana one. Your gaze follows your fingertips. One breath, one movement. And exhale, pours you right back down. Step back into downward facing dog. Inhale, step your left toes to the top edge of your mat. Ground your right heel. Hips stay low, fingertips sweep up high. Big inhale, fill up. And exhale, pours it right back out. And this time, move through your vinyasa if that's part of your practice today. Exhales ground you down. Inhales lift you up. We eventually find our way back through downward facing dog. Check back in with your breath here. See if there are any edges that you can smooth out, any agitation, any choppiness. We'll move through that Surya Namaskar, B, sun salutation, B, just one more time. Inhale, lift your gaze to the top edge of your mat. Exhale, travel forward. Exhale, sink your hips low. Inhale, sweep your fingertips high. Check back in with your steadiness, your foundation. Really root through all four corners of your feet. Stay long enough to feel something, to find your edge and let it soften. Inhale lifts you back up, and exhale pours it back out. Find softness here. No resilience without rest. No strength without soft. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step right into your downward facing dog. Inhale, right foot steps forward, left heel grounds. Fingertips sweep up toward the ceiling. And exhale pours you right back down. Downward facing dog. Inhale, left toes forward. Right heel grounds. These movements are becoming familiar. You follow the pace of your own breath. You trust your timing. You trust your practice. Exhales ground you. Inhales lift you. Eventually, you find your way back through downward facing dog. Check back in with your breath. Notice any choppiness, any agitation. Smooth it all out. Exhale, lower your knees toward your mats. They can be wide, they can be together. Wherever you land, sink it right back to your child's pose. Give yourself a few breaths. And just really be with those edges that you've just smoothed out. Anything that's shown up, anything you just shook up. Picture like a snow globe. Shaken up like that, and then everything just falls right back down. That's us right now. Be with the edges. Let your breath start to return back to its natural, normal pace. After a few breaths in child's pose, start to make your way to seated. Stretch both your legs straight out in front of you. Take a moment here in this staff pose, Dandasana. Palms planted to the outer edges of your hips. Heels grounded, hips grounded, shoulders right over your hips. Gentle tuck of your chin toward your chest. Notice everything slowing back down. Next time you inhale, stretch your fingertips up over your head. Lift your gaze to follow. Lift up out of your waist. Pull your belly button in toward your spine. Let an exhale melt you forward. Lead with your heart and chest. Keep your spine tall. The crown of your head extended straight forward. We're not looking for perfection here. We're not trying to touch our toes. We're just seeing where we land. We're just finding that first edge. Fingertips can come around your big toe as you pull yourself in. You meet yourself where you're at. Unravel one layer at a time. Still a little bit of muscular effort involved here. Not quite into the yin practice yet. Eventually, let your shoulders start to soften and melt. Release the flex in your foot. Let your upper spine start to dome. And turn this forward fold into a restorative shape. They're really two completely different postures. Notice your back rounding out everything, just falling back into place. And trust your body's ability to find its naturally restorative shape. We just have to get out of its way. And check back in with your breath here. Sending your breath down the lengths of your legs, all the way up through your upper back, your low back. And give yourself as much time as you need in this fold. Whenever you're ready to come out, let an inhale start to walk your upper body up one vertebrae at a time, just starts to roll up. And now one last posture before our rest, before Shavasana. Go ahead and grab a block. If you don't have a block, just roll up a towel or a blanket. Go ahead and place it right underneath where your shoulder blades would be. Might take a few moments to really snuggle it into that sweet spot. As long as your heart is the highest point of your body. Bring the soles of your feet together, knees fall wide, Supta Baddha Konasana, reclining bound ankle. Let it all slow back down. Notice what happens in your mind and your breath when your physical body slows down. Does your mind start to speed back up? Are you able to just let it settle? You tether right back into your breath. It's your anchor. It's your key. Everything slows back down. You give yourself as much time as you need here. All that's left in our practice is our final rest, our Shavasana. Whenever you're ready, just sliding that block, that support out from under your shoulders, letting your entire back body find your mat. Pour it all out, let it all go. Zero muscular effort, total body relaxation. Know that your rest never needs to be earned. Resting is your right as a human being. And sink right in. Let yourself fully surrender. And now again, you take as much time as you need here. The limit does not exist. And try and give yourself at least 5 minutes. When you're ready to come out, just invite some small, subtle movements back to your body. Wiggle your fingers, toes. Circle your wrists and ankles. Gently drop your head and neck from side to side. Slide your knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a little hug, a little squeeze. And roll right on over to either side. And give yourself a few breaths in this fetal position. One cycle ends, another begins. Eventually, using your hands, your upper body strength to help guide you back up through a seat. Ending your practice the same way you began it, this place of stillness. Extending gratitude for yourself, for showing up for yourself today. By showing up for you, you show up for everyone around you. Never underestimate the ripple that you create when you step into your power, into your practice. Thank you.